Two cases of COVID-19 at a women's prison in Central Virginia lead to more testing and dozens of infected inmates and staff members. 5th District candidates for Congress face off in their first debate of the campaign, tackling topics ranging from broadband internet to health care. Richmond City Council votes to ban guns on public property during protests.
Live in high definition from the area's most experienced news team, this is NBC 29 HD News at Noon.
First at noon, a spike of more than 1,000 new coronavirus cases in a day is driving the total number of infections in Virginia to more than 130,000. The Virginia Department of Health reports 1,236 new cases since Wednesday. That raises the total to 130,525. 11 additional deaths bring the statewide death toll to 2,708 people. The percent positivity rate ticked up slightly to 7.7%. The University of Virginia's COVID tracker shows a total of 257 cases in the university community. 214 of those are students. The tracker also reports 4 new hospitalizations since Tuesday. UVA spokesman Brian Coy says the university will now update the dashboard each afternoon instead of in the morning, so it has time to compile numbers from a few different data streams. Fishburne Military School in Waynesboro says it's had 0 COVID-19 cases since starting in-person classes almost a month ago, August 15th. Superintendent Mark Black says this is due to a very diligent planning process that started back in April. Cadets follow a strict schedule. Everyone on campus is screened daily. Black says cadets have stepped up to become leaders in implementing the new protocols. Black says Fishburne has fewer students than in previous years. This year it has 117 students, including 29 day students. The Fluvanna Correctional Center for Women is dealing with a coronavirus outbreak. The center says it started with 2 inmates who were showing symptoms. That forced the facility to work into the wee hours of the morning to test everybody. Those tests returned an additional 39 positive results, totaling 41 cases. That means nearly 18% of the facility is infected. The center says most are asymptomatic, and the facility did not need to hospitalize anyone. Attorneys in Central Virginia are working to help people facing eviction because of the coronavirus pandemic. The Legal Aid Justice Center's volunteer lawyer program is organizing groups of attorneys who will be trained in tenants' rights and eviction laws. These lawyers will help take on some of those cases. Kristen Clarence with Legal Aid says they're doing a service to the community. Clarence says the program is still looking for more attorneys to volunteer to take on some of those eviction cases. The Fluvanna County School Board is discussing how to move forward with the current school year. The board decided to go entirely virtual for the first 9 weeks. Schools are set to go to a hybrid of virtual and in-person learning on November 2nd, unless the board changes that decision at its meeting in October. Some parents who spoke during a meeting Wednesday night are urging the board to continue all virtual learning. The school system says 90% of students are participating in the virtual learning. Staff is working on ways to provide internet access for the other 10%. Fluvanna County is offering students some safe workspaces with free Wi-Fi access. Parks and Recreation set up these learning labs across the county. They're available for students accompanied by their parents. Students must pre-register at least 1 day in advance and have their temperature taken before entering. They must also bring their own school supplies and laptop. Right now, there are learning labs in Kent's Store, Troy, and 2 near Fork Union. If there's a large enough demand, the county says it will look into making more spaces available. You can find all the details about how to sign up for a spot on our website, NBC29.com. To Decision 2020 this afternoon, the race for the 5th Congressional District seat is heating up. Democrat Cameron Webb and Republican Bob Good faced off in a debate for the first time Wednesday. NBC 29's Rachel Hersheimer has a look at the voter questions those candidates answered.
Hey, Dr.
Covering Virginia this afternoon, Richmond City Council is banning guns on public property during protests and events. The new ordinance aims to prevent violent confrontations during demonstrations against racial inequality. Councilors voted unanimously Tuesday to adopt the ordinance. It bans carrying guns on public property at any event or any public area near an event. Some councilors expressed concerns about enforcing the law. Some community members questioned whether the ban violates Second Amendment rights. People along the Virginia coast are cleaning up from flooding. Take a look at this. Floodwaters covered several roads in Isle of Wight County Wednesday. Part of one road in Windsor collapsed for the second time this summer. Schools had to cancel all in-person learning for the day after bus drivers found that they couldn't travel on some of those roads. Crews rescued several people from vehicles. No injuries are reported. The National Weather Service measured 11 inches of rain in part of Isle of Wight by midday. One person is dead and another seriously injured in a house fire in Waynesboro. Firefighters responded to that home on South Fork Drive just before 4 o'clock Wednesday morning. Officials say 4 people were inside the house at the time. The injured victim was taken to VCU for burn treatment. Investigators have not released the name of the person who died. No one else is hurt. The home is considered a total loss. Investigators are working to determine the cause of that fire. A Florida man pleaded guilty in federal court to harassing a woman from Charlottesville. Investigators say 22-year-old Agustin Alberto Lainez became friends with the victim online back in September of last year. He eventually demanded nude images of the victim. After she denied his sexual advances, Lainez threatened to physically harm her and expose her personal information. Lainez faces up to 5 years in prison and up to a $250,000 fine. Calls reporting child abuse in the Shenandoah Valley are down during the pandemic, even as many children are home. A Child Protective Services supervisor says it's not a drastic decline. Amber Martino with Shenandoah Valley Social Services says the biggest drop happened in April. Nearly 200 calls came in during April 2019. That number dropped by 50 this past April while children were home from school.
We typically come.
Martino says it is concerning that children learning from home are not as visible to mandatory reporters right now. To see the data and more information about reporting child abuse, you can go to NBC29.com. A group that's worked for years to take down Confederate statues in Charlottesville is speaking out about accomplishing its goal with the upcoming removal of one of those monuments. Crews will remove the At Ready soldier statue, cannon and cannonballs in front of the Albemarle County Courthouse Saturday. County supervisors voted to send that memorial to the Shenandoah Valley Battlefield Foundation. The group Take 'em Down Seville says the statue and others like it represent a false history.
They left this.
Due to the pandemic, the public will not be allowed to watch that statue removal in person. Albemarle County will live stream the event on its Facebook page Saturday morning. Deadly wildfires are devastating states out west. 3 people are dead and firefighters are searching for a dozen others in this fire. It's now burned nearly 100,000 acres in the last 24 hours.
And we've got plenty of cloud cover, some areas of drizzle, a few light showers from here and there. Of course, the big question is when things are going to clear out. I'll let you know. Your forecast coming up next. So certainly kind of almost like a repeat of what we had this past weekend as we look ahead to next week.
Yeah, that was amazing. It's nice to see those 50s as the lows too, kind of like a little taste of fall maybe.
It's on its way.
It is. Okay, thank you, David.
All right, you bet.
The coronavirus is changing America's classrooms forever. From social distancing to the way teachers create their lessons, we will take a closer look at the classroom of the future. Covering America this afternoon, 3 people are dead and 12 are missing in the Bear Fire in California. As firefighters continue to battle that blaze, the Bear Fire is one of several dangerous wildfires that destroyed or damaged more than 200 structures in California. Several people were hurt after being trapped by the fire overnight. Butte County first responders rescued more than 100 people. The National Forest Service estimates that fire consumed more than 97,000 acres in just the past 24 hours. With wind gusts, firefighters had to battle a wall of fire that jumped as high as 200 feet at times. At least 1 person is dead after the Alameda fire tore through parts of southern Oregon Wednesday. That fire started around 11 a.m. near a subdivision on the north end of Ashland. It quickly spread, destroying buildings and land as it moved south. Anything that caught fire is completely destroyed. Firefighters found open gas lines, downed power lines, and many other hazards. Fire officials say the fire is the most destructive they've ever seen. In Clackamas County, Oregon, the Riverside fire is destroying homes and forcing evacuations. The fire burned 112,000 acres so far, and there is no containment. Fire officials say high winds and low humidity are fueling that blaze. Dozens of firefighters are fighting the fire from the air and on the ground. Officials say the fire is believed to be human-caused. New York City is preparing to pay tribute to the lives lost on 9/11. A ceremony at Ground Zero will take place tomorrow to mark the 19th anniversary of those terror attacks. There will be some additional safety measures because of the pandemic. The biggest change this year is no live reading of the victims' names. Instead, organizers will play recordings of family members reading those names. Those in attendance are expected to adhere to state and federal guidelines regarding social distancing. The ceremony will honor the 2,983 people killed in the attacks there at the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and aboard Flight 93 in Pennsylvania. A college professor who lied for years about being black has resigned. George Washington University says Dr. Jessica Krug stepped down. Krug was a history professor specializing in Africa and Latin America. Her resignation comes after backlash from an essay in which she admitted to masquerading as North African, Caribbean, and African American all throughout her adult life. She has since admitted she is white and Jewish. The university says other faculty members will teach Krug classes this semester. Drug companies are racing to produce a vaccine for the coronavirus. Federal health officials say they will not allow political pressure to rush that vaccine. New research reveals the impact too much drinking can have on people's mental health. Welcome back. New grant money will help teachers in Central Virginia launch projects to keep students engaged while learning at home. The Shannon Foundation awarded 20 grants to teachers in Charlottesville and Albemarle County schools worth more than $20,000. Nearly $15,000 is going to 11 teachers in the county who came up with innovative projects to promote interactive learning remotely. All of the grant-funded projects have students going out into the world and creating instead of just sitting at a desk and staring at a screen all day. The Jewett Middle School Boys and Girls Club will have a home this fall thanks to a partnership between the Fry Spring Beach Club and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Virginia. The Jewett Club will relocate to the Fry Spring Beach Club. It will serve about 35 students through an all-day virtual learning center. The Boys and Girls Club says it is beyond grateful. Monday will be the first day for the program at the Beach Club. Social distancing measures will be in place to help keep everyone safe.